judge said to me, back in 1984, there was a case, the Leon case, went up to the Supreme Court. What happened in 1984 is that some government agents screwed up on some drug raid, and the Supreme Court said, well, they can use the information because they got it in good faith. Tax court judge thinks these guys got the information in good faith, although he admits that the 10th Circuit has never ruled exactly on this issue, and I've got a distinguishing issue in the fact that First Amendment rights are involved in this case and First Amendment rights weren't involved in the other case. So I've got another issue. But the point is, I'm having to fight incredibly hard because the Supreme Court has done so much to destroy the Fourth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment, by the way, is still here, and I'm really excited about the Fifth Amendment because I think that's all we need to destroy the income tax. There is no doubt in my mind, I would bet my life on the fact that the income tax system is voluntary. And I know you people that are here for the first time tonight think I must be a kook to say something like that. But I thought the people that believe this stuff were kooks too. When I finally got convinced was when I watched John Boss's trial. And I watched his attorney get up there and say, no, there's no requirement to file returns. That's when I finally started paying more attention to that side of the freedom movement. I'd always sort of been in the church side of it. And still, I like the church side a lot. I've been very successful with that approach. But I realized at that point that I really needed to look into it. Let me tell you a little bit about the Fifth Amendment here. The Fifth Amendment, the thing about Title 26 is it's both a civil and a criminal code. Both civil and criminal. What the IRS does is they very deliberately say that the income tax is a voluntary system. I went through the Internal Revenue Manual this year and I found about 15 instances where the IRS referred to the income tax as voluntary. There was even one place where they said if the taxpayer hasn't filed a voluntary return, unquote. Why do they have to say voluntary return? Why don't they just say return? Why don't they say mandatory return? I wrote a letter to my congressman recently, and I said, you know, the IRS is always referring to the income tax system as voluntary and voluntary compliance. I said, I'd like to know a little about the drug laws. Is compliance with the drug laws also voluntary, or is it mandatory? This sounds sort of foolish, doesn't it, when you say voluntary compliance with the drug laws, right? I mean, doesn't it sound foolish? I'm going to voluntarily not smoke a joint. It's pretty weird. People have been writing their letters to congressmen for many years, asking them questions. And one of the main questions they ask is, well, what section requires me to file a return? There isn't any section. And they get all kinds of smart-ass answers back from their congressmen. But I thought up a question about 2 months ago that really boxes them in a corner.